Hey guys, welcome back to Taydeco. My name's Taylor. I'm a part-time reseller and I'm gonna be going over my sales over the past few weeks. Okay, so first I want to talk about this vintage gold label Victoria's Secret 100% silk nightgown. So I listed this about a week ago. Yesterday, I went into ChatGPT and I uploaded photos of the item and I said, can you create a stock photo for this item? And this is the photo that it made. I was so blown away. I just said, like, can you make it like kind of 80s glamour, like she's relaxing at home and she's wearing this item. That's like the prompt that I gave ChatGPT. And this is the photo that it gave me. I'm not gonna be using like ChatGPT, like AI stock photos a lot, but on these like kind of like vintage pieces that I know don't have stock photos, I'm gonna consider using ChatGPT to create the image depending on what it looks like. I tested other things, like I was uploading other things to see what ChatGPT would come up with, and they weren't that, like some of them just, it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. This image that they created, I thought was spot on and I was just blown away by the quality. So I did use it. And then in the description below, I wrote stock photo is AI generated. This item sold for $30. I just got this item in the bins and I love selling, you know, vintage Victoria's Secret gold label. So I thought that this was such a great sale. Okay, next is this Badgley Mishka strapless, beautiful, like it's very like bold pink. It's really pretty. It's kind of like neon-y fuchsia. But this sold for $80. My earnings were $64. I got this in a Run the Runway box. It was like a flawed box, but I didn't notice any flaws on this, so I think it was just dated and that's why they were getting rid of it. Next is this Barefoot Dreams, kind of like a duster robe. This sold for $25. My earnings were $22, and I had this for a few months, and I also found this in the bins. I was kind of disappointed in the sales price because I was hoping it would go for a little bit more than $25. But since it was sitting for a while and it's a bulkier item, I don't want it to like take up space in my basement. So I'm just like happy to pack it up and get rid of it. So for that, I just kind of accepted this $25 offer, which I think is fine. I'm happy with it. Okay, next is this coat, which is wild that somebody's purchasing a coat. Even that robe, like it's like a heavier robe, and it's June. So anyway, somebody bought this coat. It's from Banana Republic, and it was actually a collab with Olivia Palermo. She was on like Laguna Beach in the hills, but this coat that I had, it was missing the belt, and it got so many likers as well. I wasn't expecting that. I did find this item, I think at a regular Goodwill. I think I paid like $7 or $8 for it. Yeah, I was very surprised about the amount of likers this got. Yeah, you can see it got 36 likers on this item. So I guess this collab is pretty hot. Okay, the next item that sold are these Lululemon men's commission pants. I think these were like a size 32. And I got these in the bins and they sold a few days after listing them for $29. So that was awesome. Okay, next is this Eddie Bauer women's sleeveless, kind of like an athletic or like casual summer dress. It was a size small, but so I'm happy that it sold. It's only sold for $19, but I did get this in the bins, so I only paid probably like $1 or $2 for it. So yeah, I just think this was a great bread and butter sale. Okay, the next thing that sold was this Anthropologie cardigan. This was a one size fits all, and I also think that it was like a blogger's favorite because there was a lot of photos of people wearing it. So I did incorporate that in the listing. I only had this item listed for, you know, maybe a month, I would say, and it sold for $50, and I found this in the bins. Okay, the next item are these Lululemon Align, kind of like a cropped navy blue legging. These I listed and maybe like 2 days later they sold for the $24, which is great. I'm really happy with that. A lot of people I hear aren't picking up Lululemon as much, but I'm still picking it up at the bins because I still think that it's selling. It's not going for as much as it used to, but I still feel like they're easy pickups, especially like the turnaround on this item. You know, it's sold in a few days. Okay, another weird item. This item was so heavy and bulky. This is a Gap like Sherpa lined cardigan sweater, and this sold for $18. I got this in the bins. This was in like new condition. That's why I picked it up. And it was like pretty substantial. Usually I don't pick up Gap, but because of the condition and then it being substantial, I just threw it in my cart. Okay, the next item that sold is this Eileen Fisher, kind of like a raincoat. This was a plus size, so it was a 2X. And I think I listed this maybe a month and a half ago, and then it sold for $40. The next thing that sold are these LL Bean joggers. These felt so soft. They were in like new condition. I got them in the bins, and these sold overnight. So I listed them, and then I woke up and they sold for $17. Another like bread and butter sale. I paid like $1 for this item at the bin, so. Okay, another bread and butter piece. So this is a J. Jill poncho, which again, these are all like kind of winter items. It's kind of funny how I'm selling a lot of like fall and winter items. So I guess get your winter things listed because people are buying them. But this again, like just sold for $19. This is another bins pickup. So I'm happy with that. Okay, this was a really cute piece. This is a vintage Chico's Traveler's blouse. It was like a really stretchy like jersey material, and it kind of has like this Asian theme to it. I thought it was so pretty. My aunt gave this to me to sell because she knows that I sell clothing. And this got a lot of likers, a lot of attention. I just liked how unique the piece was, and like the fabric felt really good. Yeah, it had 20 likers on it, so that was pretty cool. Okay, this was a pretty like bread and butter piece. This is just Free People Movement. It was just like one of those like Brahmi, like ribbed camis. I got this in the bins and I listed it, and it probably sold like 3 days after I listed it for the $17. So I probably paid like 50 cents for this item, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, next is this Crown linen. It was 100% linen. It was this long midi like tunic dress. I never heard of this brand before, but I found this in the bins, and I know 100% linen items sell really well. I liked the color, and then the size was decent, so I think I picked this up last fall in the bins, so it did sit for a little bit, but I'm happy it's sold in this season. And it sold for $35, which is a great price for a bins item. Okay, next was this Free People Movement, kind of like a tunic oversized hoodie. It was this bright orange color, and it was in great condition. I found this at the bins, and again, it sold like 2 days later for $31. Okay, next are these Lululemon leggings. Again, I found these in the bins, listed them, and they sold like the next day. So guys, Lululemon is still selling. I definitely still recommend picking them up at the bins at least. I mean, this item sold for $35 and very quickly. So I'm still picking up Lululemon, but only if it's in great condition. I'm picking up Lululemon that, you know, because sometimes the leggings can get all janky, and I'll still pick them up and I'll take them to the Lululemon store and I'll get a $10 gift card for each legging. So I do keep like a pile of like used or really older style Lululemon pieces, and I will wait until I get like 10 pieces or something like that, and then I'll go to Lululemon and get a $100 gift card. I've done that like twice, and it's been really good for me, and I have a few items for a third time that I'm saving up. So yeah, I really recommend just picking it up if you see it and then taking it to the Lululemon store if you don't think there's any value to sell it online. Okay, next was this Chico's cardigan. This was a newer style, and it was just really pretty. It had this beautiful jacquard threading throughout. Blue and white is super in right now. And again, I got this in the bins, and it sold for $35, maybe like 2 weeks, I would say, after I listed it. Okay, the next item that sold was this beautiful 100% silk button-up shirt. It's a men's shirt, and I just really loved the colors. It was giving like Chandler Bing or Kramer from Seinfeld. Those are some of the key words that I used. This I probably had listed for maybe a few months, and it just sold for the $20, but again, I got this in the bins. And it was silk, so it really didn't weigh much at all in the bins. Okay, next was this bra bundle. So I found all of these in the bins together, and I actually bought it for myself. They're all a size medium, and they really felt like a nice fabric. It's from a brand called True & Co., which I've never heard of, but I figured I could just get them for myself, but then I tried them on and I wasn't crazy about the fit. So I just put them in a bundle and threw them up on Poshmark, and they sold for $30. Again, I probably paid $2 for all of these together in the bins. So I thought that was a great sale. And I really think this brand is pretty good. I guess if you can get them in bulk though. Okay, next was this 100% linen Eileen Fisher cardigan. This was so cute. It had these like little hook enclosure pieces at the top of it. And then it was a larger size, so it was a 3X, which is great for this brand. I think I paid maybe like $6 or $7 at a Goodwill for this item, and it sold maybe a month after I listed it for $38. Okay, here's another Eileen Fisher item. These were so cute. I think they were like a tinsel blend, the material, but they were really flowy and they were a size medium. I think I found these in the bins, which was so great. They sold maybe a week after I listed them for $29. Next is this Bowden little dress. It's very like basic, and I would say it's a little bit of an older style, but I found it in the bins and it sold maybe like a month or two after I listed it for $30. Okay, and next is this Cause, kind of like a scarf, long sleeve midi tunic dress. This was so cute. I got this at a regular Goodwill. I think I paid $7 or $8 again, and it sold like 2 days. Actually, I think this sold like 10 hours or something crazy like after I listed it, but it sold for $50 and I thought that was really great. I love selling costs, especially these really cool, unique, contemporary pieces. I was so happy with this sale. Okay, this item was in my death pile for like a year and a half or something crazy. And I listed it and like a week or two later, it sold for $50. So this is your sign to go and list your death pile. This is a Zara trench coat, and it was even like an older style Zara, and it sold on May 30th. So you never know. Next was this beautiful Lily Pulitzer maxi dress. This I found in the bins, which I was so excited about. The stock photos were adorable, and this maybe sold maybe 2 months, I would say, after I listed it for $75. Okay, this dress I had forever sitting, and it finally sold. I think this, honestly, I think it's been like 2 years that I've had this in my inventory downstairs, but this finally sold for $38. I got this in the bins. And yeah, I would not pick this up again. This is After 6, I think the brand is called. Yeah, After 6. So I don't know if that's the best bridesmaid or, you know, evening gown type of a brand, but yeah. Okay, the last sale I want to go over are these Viore joggers. I found these in a Goodwill for like $6 or $7, I think, and they sold maybe a week after I listed them for $50. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you guys are making some great sales. Let me know down in the comments how it's going for you. It's definitely been a little bit slower than usual. Summer slowdown is here for me, at least I'm experiencing it, but I have been listing pretty regularly, so I'm happy about that, and I do think that I'm doing my best out here. So yeah, let me know how you guys are doing, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Bye!